Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This time we're taking a trip back to the future of television.
Back to the future.
Yeah, we're diving into the world of OTA tuners. You know those things that let you watch free TV?
Free TV, always a good topic.
Always a good topic, especially when our listener is on a mission to replace their trusty, but maybe not so trusty anymore, Tableau tuner. So we're going to help them find the absolute best option out there.
And we've got some great sources to help us with that.
We do. We've got passionate cord cutters on Reddit sharing their experiences. We've got those in-depth product reviews with all the specs and features.
And we can't forget the hands-on tech experts on YouTube putting these tuners through their paces.
Exactly. So let's get started with our Reddit thread. It looks like our listener isn't alone in their Tableau struggles. Lots of people are ditching cable for antennas, but finding the right tuner can be a real challenge.
I can imagine. There are so many options out there.
Yeah, and it can be hard to know where to start. One story that really caught my eye was this user who got the most conflicting advice from Tableau support.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. What was it again?
So first they were told their signal was too weak, like their antenna wasn't picking up enough. But then they were told their signal was too strong.
Too strong. How is that even possible?
Right. It's like pick a lane Tableau. But anyway, it just highlights how important it is to have a tuner with really good sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
The ability to pick up even the faintest signals.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you live in an area with a lot of interference or you're far from the broadcast towers.
Exactly. And speaking of sensitivity, the name that keeps popping up in that Reddit thread is HD Home Run.
HD Home Run.
Yeah, people are raving about how well it picks up even the weakest signals.
I've heard good things about them too. Especially their wireless capability.
Oh yeah, the wireless option is a game changer for a lot of people.
Right.
No more running cables all over the house.
Yeah.
You can just put the tuner wherever you get the best signal and stream it to any TV.
Makes sense. Convenience is key.
Definitely. And this actually brings up a good point for you, listener. How important is wireless connectivity for your setup?
Yeah, think about the layout of your home. How many TVs do you want to connect? Where's your router? It's worth taking a minute to consider all that.
Definitely jot down some notes if that helps. All right, so now let's zoom out a bit and take a look at those product reviews. They give us a much broader view of the whole OTA tuner landscape.
Makes sense. We don't want to get too fixated on just one brand or model.
Right, we've got this top 10 list here.
Yeah.
And one thing jumps out right away.
The HD Home Run Flex 4K.
You got it. It's the only tuner on this list that's ready for ATSC 3.
ATSC 3. That's the next generation of TV broadcasting, right?
Exactly. We're talking 4K resolution, HDR for richer colors, and even interactive features.
Interactive features? Like what?
Imagine watching your local news in stunning detail or getting real-time stats during a game, all thanks to ATSC 3.
No, that's pretty cool. Sounds like the future of television.
It really does. But it's also worth asking, is it worth the investment right now? I mean, those features are cutting edge, and they usually come with a higher price tag.
That's a good point. You have to weigh the cool factor against your budget and how quickly you usually adopt new tech.
For sure. Are you the type of person who has to have the latest and greatest? Or you're more comfortable waiting for things to become mainstream?
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer here. It's all about what makes sense for you.
Exactly. And while we're on the topic of Tableau, those reviews also mention some recurring software issues, even with their newer models.
Oh, really? Like what kind of issues?
Things like recordings failing or the app just being generally buggy.
Yeah.
It seems like even if you were thinking about upgrading within the Tableau family, you might end up with the same frustrations.
That's definitely something to consider. Nobody wants to trade one set of problems for another.
No kidding. But hey, here's something else that caught my eye. The Zapper Box M1.
Zapper Box? That's a new one.
It is. And it's the only DVR on this list that can record encrypted ATSC 3D channels.
Encrypted channels? What's that all about?
So as broadcasters switch over to ATSC 3D, they're starting to use encryption to protect their content, which makes sense from their perspective.
Yeah, I guess so.
But it means that some tuners, even those that can receive ATSC 3D signals, might not be able to record those channels.
So you need a special tuner to record them.
Exactly. And that's where the Zapper Box comes in. It's the only one that can handle it right now.
Interesting. So if you want to be truly future-proof, the Zapper Box might be worth a serious look, even if it costs a bit more.
It's all about figuring out what's most important to you, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's switch gears for a second and get a real-world perspective from that YouTube video. This guy gives us a really close-up look at the HD Home Run, and he doesn't sugarcoat anything.
I like those kinds of reviewers, the ones who tell it like it is.
Me too. And one of his biggest complaints is the app interface. He describes it as clunky and difficult to navigate.
Well, I can relate to that. A great tuner is only as good as its software, and some of these apps can be a real pain to use.
I know, right? I've definitely abandoned my fair share of streaming apps because the interface was just terrible.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that ease of use is a huge part of the whole TV viewing experience.
Absolutely. Nobody wants to spend their precious TV time wrestling with menus and settings.
Exactly. But the good news is the reviewer does praise the HD Home Run's exceptional sensitivity.
So it sounds like the Reddit users were right about that.
Yeah, he says it completely blows his built-in TV tuner out of the water. So if signal strength is a concern, the HD Home Run is looking like a strong contender.
For sure.
Mm.
All right, so far we've got the HD Home Run going head-to-head with the Zapper Box. Two very different tuners with their own pros and cons.
It's a tough choice. But before we crown a champion, let's take a look at some of the other contenders. We've got a whole lineup of tuners waiting in the wings.
Let's do it. I'm ready for round 2 of our OTA Tuner Showdown.
Bring it on.
Well, welcome back to the OTA Tuner Showdown. It's getting heated out there.
It really is. We've got the HD Home Run Flex 4K going up against the Zapper Box M1.
But hold on a second. Before we declare a winner...
You're right. We can't forget about those other tuners, the ones vying for that wild card spot.
Exactly. You know, sometimes the underdog comes out on top.
True. So let's dig into those a little bit, based on what we know about our listeners' needs so far. One option that might be tempting is the Tableau 4th generation 4-tuner OTA DVR.
That's the one with built-in storage, right?
Yeah. So you don't need an external hard drive. Plus, no subscription fees.
Those fees can really add up.
Tell me about it. But there is a trade-off. The Tableau is limited to 1080p resolution.
So no 4K, that's a bummer.
It is. Especially with those gorgeous 4K broadcasts starting to roll out.
And let's not forget about those software issues we saw in the reviews.
Ugh, yeah, those are a real concern. It's like the Tableau has all this potential, but it can't quite get out of its own way.
Good way to put it. All right, so what else we got?
Well, how about the Air TV 2? This one's especially interesting if you're already using Sling TV.
Oh, yeah. Why is that?
It integrates seamlessly with their ecosystem, so you can watch and record both OTA and streaming content in one place.
So it's like a one-stop shop for all your TV needs?
Exactly.
Pretty convenient, right?
It is. But there's a catch. You need an active Sling TV subscription for full functionality. Ah, so those monthly fees are back in the picture.
Yep. And storage options are a bit limited, which could be a deal breaker for people who like to record a lot of shows.
Yeah, storage space is a big deal for those serious recording enthusiasts.
For sure.
All right, what's next?
Okay, last but not least, we've got the Amazon Fire TV Recast.
Ah, the Amazon option.
Yep, this one's tailor-made for folks who are deep in the Amazon ecosystem.
So you need a Fire TV device to use it.
You got it. But it does integrate really well with all the Fire TV stuff. Plus, it's got built-in storage options and a pretty user-friendly interface.
Sounds promising, but I'm sensing a but coming.
You know me too well.
Yeah.
It is pretty locked into Amazon's world. So you're limited in terms of third-party apps and services.
That's a bummer. I like having options.
Me too. But I guess that's the trade-off for that tight integration.
Makes sense. All right, so we've looked at all the contenders now.
It's decision time. This really comes down to your priorities, listener.
Let's break it down.
If budget is your top concern and you're not too worried about 4K or all those fancy ATSC 3.0 features, then the HD Home Run ATSC 1.0 model is a solid choice.
Absolutely. It's affordable, reliable, and super sensitive, especially if signal strength is an issue where you live.
It's like the workhorse of the OTA tuner world.
I like that.
Yeah.
But if you want to be on the cutting edge of TV tech and you're willing to spend a bit more up front,
the HD Home Run Flex 4K, especially paired with Channels DVR, is looking pretty good.
that's my pick too. The Flex 4K gives you all those latest features, 4K resolution interactive stuff, and Channels DVR is known for its slick interface and advanced features.
Plus, pairing a separate DVR software with the HD Home Run gives you more flexibility and control over your whole viewing experience.
Exactly. And of course, if future-proofing is your absolute top priority and you absolutely need those encrypted ATSC 3.0 channels right now,
Then the Zapper Box M1 is the way to go.
yep, it might be more expensive, but it's the only one that can handle those channels right now.
It's like an insurance policy for the future of television.
I like that analogy. So there you have it, listener. 3 great options, each with its own strengths and weaknesses.
Think about what's important to you. Weigh the pros and cons.
And don't be afraid to get a little creative. But wait a second.
What's up?
We've been so focused on these individual tuners,
Right.
we haven't even considered the possibility of combining them.
Combining them. Like some kind of OTA tuner Voltron.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think outside the box here. Remember that splitter idea from the Reddit thread? What if you split your antenna signal and connect it to 2 different tuners.
Now, that's an interesting idea. It's like having your cake and eating it, too.
Exactly. You could combine the HD Home Run ATSC 1.0 model with the ZapperBox M1.
Ooh, I see where you're going with this. You'd have rock-solid reception for your current channels. A&D, be ready for those encrypted ATSC 3.0 channels down the line.
Exactly. It might require a bit more setup.
Yeah.
But it could be the perfect solution for people who want the ultimate flexibility and future-proofing.
This is why I love these deep dives. You never know what kind of creative solutions you'll uncover.
Speaking of creative solutions, remember those product reviews we were looking at? They mentioned a few more contenders that we haven't even talked about yet. Some of these might surprise you.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to our OTA Tuner deep dive. It feels like we've gone through every possible option.
We really have. From those passionate Redditors to those in-depth reviews and even that hands-on YouTube video.
We've covered a lot of ground. We saw how ATSC 3.0 is changing the game with 4K HDR and those cool interactive features.
But we also talked about whether it's actually worth investing in those features right now.
Right, because they do come at a premium.
Yeah.
And then there are those encrypted ATSC 3.0 channels, adding another layer of complexity to the whole thing.
It's a lot to consider, but I think we've done a good job of breaking it all down.
I hope so. We explored the strengths and weaknesses of each contender, the HD Home Run, the ZapperBox M1.
Even those wildcard options, and that crazy idea of combining tuners for the ultimate setup.
Yeah, that splitter idea was pretty wild, but hey, could work. So after all that research and debate...
What's the final verdict? Which OTA tuner takes home the trophy?
Drumroll, please.
Okay, enough suspense. Based on everything we've learned, I think the winner is...
Oh, leave me hanging.
The HD Home Run Flex 4K paired with Channels DVR.
I knew it. That dynamic duo was unstoppable.
It really was. The Flex 4K gives you that exceptional sensitivity ATSC 3.0 support for the future, and the convenience of wireless streaming.
And Channels DVR takes it to the next level, with its intuitive interface, advanced features like ad skipping, and the ability to watch your recordings anywhere.
It's the ultimate package for people who want the best picture quality, cutting-edge features, and a seamless viewing experience.
But hold on a second. What about those encrypted ATSC 3.0 channels?
Right. The ZapperBox M1 still have an edge there.
So it's not a total knockout.
Not quite. If recording those encrypted channels is a must-have for you right this second, then the ZapperBox M1 might still be the way to go.
Even with that higher price tag.
Exactly. It really comes down to your priorities. But for most cord cutters looking for the best overall value and performance, the HD Home Run Flex 4K with Channels DVR is the clear winner.
I think so too. It's a combination that's hard to beat. But even if you choose a different tuner, all the insights we've gathered during this deep dive can help you make the right decision.
Think about your needs. Weigh the pros and cons, and don't be afraid to experiment.
Maybe you'll even try that splitter idea and combine 2 tuners. Who knows?
The possibilities are endless, and that's what makes cord cutting so exciting.
It really is. Well, that brings our OTA Tuner deep dive to a close.
We've explored, we've debated, and hopefully we've given you the knowledge you need to choose the perfect tuner for your setup.
Now go forth and enjoy the world of free over-the-air television.
Happy viewing, everyone.
See you next time.